Won't let me.
Mine will.
Okay. So
Okay, we're back. Sorry about that.
thank God that we're like Girl Scouts.
We are Girl Scouts.
We-
Everything in my pocketbook, from a bunny to Band-Aids to tripod to record.
So there's a little issue with the Wi-Fi, and we, thank God, have the phone and the tripod. We're going back to old school.
Right, so I was cut off when I was talking about Dr. Jenna going for foot massages,
Yes.
and she'll appreciate this story because she goes a lot and she swears by her routine of self-care and taking care of herself, and every time she tells me she's getting a foot massage, I just imagine
That she's in a sex parlor.
everybody there being like, talking about her, like, does she know she's in a sex den?
So here's what I'll tell you about foot
By the way,
massage.
do you see my highlighter?
You're highlighting? You did your makeup yourself with
I-
little contouring?
I-
You're like a Kardashian.
I highlight now because I'm really jealous of all the people that like look like they're glowing.
Do you have the dots and everything before you do like the whole
That's
thing?
contour. I have a
I don't even know
highlighter
the
stick,
difference.
and you just do that, and it's so easy. Anyway,
All right.
sorry.
We have
Makeup
to get
on the
back on
go
track.
for
We went on a
moms.
tangent, but
Get it
with
in the
the
car.
foot massage thing, the trick is not to go to the places where you're all in one big room, because I turn into like an immature child when I hear all the noises. I'm like, I can't be in this situation. I can't look at anyone. I can't make eye contact. So you have to be in your own little spa room.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. We're gonna call them, and we're gonna see if we can do a
From your foot haven?
yes.
Well, it's a legit place.
No, it's
so-
amazing. It's
Okay.
amazing.
All right. So anyway,
Okay,
back
so-
to teachers.
Yes. So parent-teacher conferences.
I went in a little bit on edge. I just wanted to make sure that like things were being handled appropriately, and like just a little on edge because I'm sensitive about my daughter anyway, and going through a divorce, you know it affects your child, you don't know how it's affecting your child, and so I'm always a little bit on the defensive, right? And so what I learned is that she's two of the most loving, sweet, attentive teachers. It's just a really tough job to be with toddlers.
I don't know. I always feel like people who are not just teachers but teaching little ones like that, you're not doing it unless you have a passion for it and love those kids, because that is like my worst nightmare. Sometimes I don't want to be with my own children because they get so crazy. So for someone to be with a whole group of them, where you're changing diapers and wiping tush and like all, I give them credit. It's amazing.
I always say I couldn't have another kid because I don't understand how people handle it. I couldn't have
But you
another
handle mine.
handling her child. Please go to my Instagram right now, the Michelle Dempsey. Check out my Insta stories, because I said to her earlier, I don't want a second baby. I just don't. At least maybe sometime in my life that'll change. I just weathered a divorce. I have a 2-year-old. I'm in a new relationship. Why rock the boat? But then you go to this one's house, and she's in her new house with her second husband, and she has a baby that makes marshmallow fluff look bad. Okay, like the most delicious, chunky, happy. She laughs hysterically when she sees me. She lets me like eat her and make out with her. Like she's the kind of baby that makes your ovaries pulsate.
She's delicious. So Marnie, my best friend who's here, who I'm going to make her come on camera in a little bit. I am. She's giving me like a dirty look, but when we FaceTime a lot, like when I'm feeding the baby and she's sitting in her high chair or whatever, and the minute she sees Marnie and Marnie says hi to her, she gets that like ear-to-ear grin. It is the cutest thing, and like it melts you.
Yep.
It melts even the darkest of hearts. Don't you think?
Yep.
So, listen, sometimes you don't know what life is going to throw your way. I didn't know what was going to happen if I was going to meet someone, have a baby, do all that stuff. Things happen the way
One of
they're
the lucky
supposed to
ones,
happen.
honestly.
I am very lucky. I am.
Now that I've crossed that bridge, it's tough. It's really tough being an adult parent trying to date. It's like, why don't you just shoot me?
So when you go to like school stuff, parent-teacher conferences, do you guys go together?
So Elliot, my ex-husband, who is very instrumental in being a great dad and doing all the things he needs to do as a dad, unfortunately couldn't make it because he was in court yesterday morning.
But normally he would. He's involved in that stuff.
Yes,
Right.
he's involved. He's having his own meeting, and I think, it's funny because I've seen the change in him from when we first had her. He's like a frat boy. Like, who cares if she pushes someone on the playground? That's funny, haha. And now he's gone really to like the girl side of fatherhood. Like, I want her to be sweet and I want her to be kind, and he's very kind. And so I think that he's finally on board with doing things my way. Moms are always right. I mean, that's just how it works. But I see it with my boyfriend. The most
the way that you,
My
when you're,
partner.
no, it's not even, I'm not making fun of it. I'm
do it for
saying the way that you said that you light up when I start talking about Jason and we were dating, when you say my boyfriend, just because I know the journey and I get that feeling too.
Yeah. Well, it's a journey. And so, yes, I was lucky to find someone who is wonderful to be with, but also he's such a great example of, and Elliot, my ex-husband, is too, such a great example of what a father to a little girl should be in any divorce situation. Present, consistent, doting, loving, affectionate, all the things that a little girl needs to smooth over the fact that mommy and daddy aren't in the same house anymore. And I think it's really important, when you're dating without a kid, you're dating for you, and that's fine. Like, you're dating for you. You don't know what motherhood or parenthood is going to be like, but when you're dating,
it's scary.
With a child post-divorce, you're dating for that kid. Like, whether you like it or not, you're now choosing with your mama eyes, your mama bear eyes, and it's like, who's going to be the best, not just for me, but for my kid. And so I think it's hard for a lot of people to have to step into that role, for sure.
It totally is. And Jenny, my New York
Kelly,
bestie,
praise
here.
preschool
Kelly's
teachers,
here. Hi,
me
guys.
too.
When you are dating someone post-divorce and there are children involved, it is so, the person you're dating is so crucial to that equation.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit offline, and you can't, first of all, you cannot date someone who's not going to be patient with your circumstance, because things happen, plans change,
really messy.
Someone might need to drop off the kid if you don't have them that
There's
weekend.
a sick kid, there's a sick
You
ex-spouse, there's a play date.
You have to have someone who rolls with those punches, or it is going to drive you absolutely crazy. And you have that.
Yes.
I have that. But not everybody has that. It's a very hard thing, I think, especially if you, it's even harder, I think, if you're dating someone who's never had a child or never gone through a divorce. They don't get it. They're not being jerks about it, but they don't understand, like, all the intricacies.
I remember when I first separated and I was thinking about dating, a couple people had said, oh God, find someone without kids. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't need to be the center of somebody's world. I need my child to be accepted and loved by this person.
Right, because don't you think if you would have found, someone who either was not comfortable with children, didn't have children, they wouldn't be able to form a relationship with Bella, which is important to you. Like, that's a very... Jason did not have children, but I knew, because he had nieces and he, we talked about getting married and having a baby, I knew that he would be very, very loving and sweet with Ava, but also very respectful of that she has a father.
Right.
And that is a very hard balance to strike.
You have to really enter the game knowing that if you're going to meet somebody with a child, if you're a man meeting a woman meeting a man, you do not, a man meeting a man, a woman meeting a woman.
No, that's not why I'm laughing.
Jason is a godsend. We love him and he loves Ava. Jason is the best. Literally, Jason
Jenny
has
just
been
said Jason has 2 dogs that Rachel wishes would get hit by a car. That is not true. I do not wish they'd get hit by a car.
Those dogs, I got bit before.
She did get bit. One is very temperamental, and it's a lot. Dogs and children are very different. I think children are easier than dogs.
For sure. Dogs are more unpredictable. You get to know a kid's pattern. Dogs
kids
just...
schlep with you. They go around. Dogs are pains in the asses. Oh, I gotta go home to feed the dog. I can't go away this weekend. I have to board the dog. And they are like a major imposition on life. Sorry.
Okay. Can I go back?
Rant over. Go ahead. Yes. Jenny fired me up.
So you have to enter the game, the post-divorce game of dating. If you're a man meeting someone, if you're a woman meeting someone, and there's children, the ex-spouse is here and you are here. Like, there is no way around that. And
it's the father of
it doesn't matter. That ex could hate you. You could hate them.
You have to
None
play
of that
nice.
You have to. The only thing that matters are the children. And if you're not willing to put that other person's child first, you have no business dating.
Jenny wants to know what post-divorce sex is like. Like, she's asking for a friend.
Tell your friends, girl.
Listen, I think it depends what kind of situation you come out of. There's no right way to answer that. I know you're trying to bait us to get into a inappropriate conversation.
I'll tell you. No, I'm going to get into it. I'll tell you because I wrote something. There's 3 stages post-divorce of dating, right? There's the first one. You come out of a marriage. You feel lost. You feel like, and you also feel like a bird out of a cage. The end is never good, and even if it happens quickly. And
she's such an instigator.
Who? Me?
Jenny.
Oh. You're a bird out of a cage, so what do? You go back to the bad boy, the person you should have never been with in the first place. You kind of get it all out. You rebound like a fool. And then there's phase 2. Then there's, I was part of a family once. I'd like to do that again. And so then you date with intention. Then you're like, and because there's so much knowledge there from what you fucked up the first time, because you both fucked up in your marriage, not just one person, there's so much more intention that it makes the bond physically and emotionally that much stronger.
Well, I think you also, coming out of a situation that didn't work for whatever reason, you
also know that sometimes sex is the only thing that holds you together.
Your perspective totally changes, and I think that you value that part of your relationship. It's not just a robotic thing anymore in a marriage. It's something that it drives intimacy, and it drives a connection, and it is physical and emotional. And I think that when you lack that in a bad situation for whatever reason, whether you're just not connecting, or you know you're going to get divorced, or you're fighting and you hate each other, whatever it is, when you're missing that intimacy, it affects everything in your life. It affects your relationship, how you act towards your children, how you act towards each other. So when you find yourself in a new situation where you're turning over a new leaf and everything is new, the communication is new, the physical relationship is new, all of it is new, it's a completely different feeling, completely different.
Rachel was with a guy for a little bit because he gave her a great ride. Everybody needs a lift from time to time, honey. Rachel was exactly what I'm talking about. That first stage, you're hitchhiking. You're going to get in a car with anybody.
Here's the thing. Jason and I have talked about this very openly. Like, he had said in the beginning...
Are you ever not open?
No, we're always open. But Jason, when we first met, was like, I wish that we would have met earlier, and like, we could have found each other after our divorces, but I would not have been ready, and I would not have been the person that I was when I met Jason. When I met Jason, I was ready. I was ready to settle down. I was ready to be in a committed relationship. I was ready to introduce someone to my child. Before that, it was just fun, and it was something that I so desperately needed because I was so emotionally and physically dead.
Yeah.
I was just dead.
You're drained, emotionally drained.
I needed to be like woken up, and I not that Jason couldn't have done that, but I think that then we wouldn't have had the strength in our relationship that we had. I needed something that was purely physical and made me feel good and lifted me up and took me, like, literally picked me out of that dark hole where there was no strings, there was nothing to think about. It was just a very easy, fun situation. And had that not happened, I don't think Jason and I would have a solid foundation.
Well, speaking of your loser that you met before Jason, so about a week out of my marriage, how did we go from parent-teacher conferences to this? I was telling Spencer about this last night. It's a horrible story. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, a week out of my marriage, I'm like a lost puppy, but also like ravenous, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Do I date? Do I not? Do I meet someone? Do I wallow in my pity? I don't know. You know, when you are single, you tend to like somehow look a little bit better than you normally would.
You look incredible. You're like the thinnest. It's the divorce diet.
It's the best.
It's called
the
divorce
divorce diet. So a week out of my diet, I finally looked like J-Lo. And a week out of my divorce, I finally looked like J-Lo. And I go into my doctor's office on a Saturday morning. And there's a guy sitting there, and like he was cute, and I noticed, and I was like, oh shit, I can like hit on him now, because like I can do that
totally
now.
Allowed.
Except I didn't, because who the hell do I think I am? I don't know how to hit on anyone. But he struck up a conversation. I had Bella with me, and he's like, oh my God, your daughter's gorgeous. I've always wanted kids. What's it like? Da da da. And he's having this whole conversation with me, and I'm like melting on the inside. And so, I remember the receptionist behind the desk was like. And I was like, okay, cool, I gotta go, bye. And I like left, and that was it. And then a few days later, I get this message on my Instagram, and it's him. And he's like, I can't stop thinking about you. You're beautiful. Your daughter was gorgeous. I'd love to get to know you better. Can we hang out? I don't know. So we started talking, and I'm so excited, and we have plans to hang out, and we're gonna go to lunch. And I'm having coffee with one of my best friends, and I'm telling her, and she's like, well, did you Google him? And I was like, no, is that what the kids are doing these days?
Yes.
And she was like, well, let's look him up. Within 30 seconds, you're going to die. We found his wedding registry. He had been married the year before, still married. His baby registry, his wife had a baby a week to the day before I met him in the doctor's office. So that's when I was like, you know what? I'm meant to be single. Like, this is disgusting. And he was like hitting me up, and we were meeting, and terrible, terrible, terrible. So...
That's you. I know.
I'm sorry.
You have to Google them. You have to Google. I have a friend who I'm gonna leave her nameless because I don't want to get her in trouble. But she is like my go-to for any like private investigation work that I need to do. So she will find out if they bought a house, how much they paid for their house, where the house was, if they got divorced, if there are any public records, if they got in trouble. Like, she will literally give
Danielle could
you
work for the
it is
CIA.
unbelievable. And so we did that to Jason. Totally did that to Jason. Like, I knew where he lived with his ex-wife. Like, you have to do your homework.
Yep.
Because you never know. There's like sick people out there, and I'm a little bit neurotic about those things to begin with. Speaking of like, can we take a tangent for a second? Do you do like OfferUp or Craigslist or any of those things to sell things?
I'll tell you a good story.
Do you do it?
I don't.
Please don't do it ever again.
And Spencer just did it, and he got scammed big time. And the guy was like, "Oh, you're selling something for $1,000. I'm going to send you $5,000. What I need you to do is go to the bank."
Yeah, but not even
and then,
that.
Wait, then he got
like
death threats. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to find your family.
So people are now showing up and like a girl here recently somewhere in Boca went to sell her iPhone and pulled up and met a guy in like the parking lot of Town Center, which is a big visible thing. And he I don't know if he had a weapon or what he did, but he basically sold the phone and ran. And it's happening all the time. I don't
South
understand.
Florida is not the place to
I
do
don't
this
know
kind
why
of stuff.
I don't know why people sell like
It's
that. They're
bad.
strangers. You're letting strangers in your home. Anyway, that was the end of my. I can't. I just needed. You made me think of it when you're talking about Googling your possible almost ex-boyfriend, which thank God that never happened.
Thank God.
Thank God.
I would never want that karma on my plate. Like, part of me wanted to. Not that, I mean, I think it's kind of crazy to reach out to the wife because nothing actually happened, but like, your baby daddy's an asshole. Like, she's literally still,
She probably knows.
fresh out of the hospital.
She probably knows. It's probably not the first time.
I hope you're listening, guy. I really do, because that was gross.
Will you come over here? She's gonna be so mad at me. If you read my blog, if you follow me at all, I talk about Marnie a lot. Marnie is my person. Marnie is my person. You're leaving? Thank you for coming. This is Marnie.
Hey, Marnie. Come on in here.
Marnie has been in my life.
I'm just gonna sit on top of it.
Sit on my lap. Marnie has been in my life since.
I can't really fit.
Here, just put your head in. Okay. You're fine.
I'll just be here on the third wheel,
No, you're not the
clearly.
third wheel. Listen, I'm joining my
know
worlds
how I
right
am.
now.
You know how I am.
Can you just scooch down a little bit? Just kidding.
She's kidding. I'm joining my
I'll
worlds.
go get more honey mustard
so,
for my fries.
Marnie and I have been best friends since I was 15. We met at camp, at Pinecrest Day Camp, and have been in love ever since. And
Was that person her counselor too?
Which person?
The one that your mom yelled at?
No, that was at the JCC.
Okay.
That was when I was much younger. So Marnie is like, we're both a little bit crazy, right? I mean, admittedly, but somehow we are each other's voice of reason. Like when one of us freaks out, somehow the other one is able to like bring the other person down, which doesn't make any sense because we're both like certifiably insane. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
Everybody needs that kind of friend.
I mean, and Marnie's like, she knows everything. I tell her everything. Like if anything were ever happened to me ever, she would know every secret. She knows where all the bodies are buried. She knows everything. I want to ask you though about parent-teacher conferences because you have 3 stepsons and you
do?
Yeah. Marnie has 4 boys.
So you have one boy of your own.
Yes.
Oh, you're the perfect person to discuss.
Yes. So, and
I just want to know that I'm as special though as. I know she's in your life longer.
listen. This is Marnie's part of.
Whatever, just tell your story.
All right, anyway, I want Marnie to talk about parent-teacher conferences because Marnie is a little bit crazy with this kind of stuff like I can get. And I'm curious now, Danny's in kindergarten. So these are real conferences now. These aren't like preschool anymore. So like, do you have anxiety about it? And like, where's your head at? And
No, his teacher's so great. It's almost like pre-K on steroids because it's like, sorry my voice sounds like this.
It's actually kind of hot.
I know,
sexy.
I know, I'm getting over something. So I'm really not nervous. I think I love his teacher so much and it's such like a cushy environment that I'm shockingly not nervous.
did you ever cry in a preschool parent-teacher conference?
No, I didn't cry in the conference, probably after. I cried after.
You cried when you started school. You cried when
Yes.
I wonder how you're going to be when Bella starts kindergarten because when
I cried.
When Danny
I'm gonna hide
started
in the
kindergarten,
closet.
no, she like needed oxygen. Like
cried.
I have never seen anyone in my life. She
I was crying.
could not, leading up to it, could not function.
Why? Was it a fear of?
I was like, he's so little. He's not ready, but he was ready. I was not ready.
It's always the parents who are not ready.
Yeah.
But I didn't believe that until I saw it, and then I was like, he's gonna be fine. It
Yeah.
was just me. He was so independent and so good, and he's always been like that. So
How old is he now?
he'll be 6 in December.
And how old are your stepsons?
18 in 2 days.
Wow.
15 and 13.
Wow. How often are they with you?
One of them lives with us all the time, the oldest, and then the other 2 are with us half the time.
Awesome. And
And
how's
she's
your
a very
relationship
good-
with the ex? Okay, we'll leave that for another
Yeah.
time.
Marnie's a very good stepmom and a very good, she just is.
You know what makes a good stepmom? Compassion and understanding for the original mom.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
That's all I would ever ask
And I
for
always
from
do
my
that. And
We
ex-husband.
talk about that all the time.
That's all I would ever ask for.
I will
from
never
my
be their
ex-husband.
mom. I never try to take that role, and I don't think anyone ever should. So, everyone only has one mom. You can only have one mom. I try to just be there for them and support them and be respectful of her role at the same time.
And all you can do, and I've said this to you, is you can only worry about your own actions and the way that you, like, we talked about stuff with you today. You can only worry about how you handle the situation. You can't worry about everybody else. You can't worry about your ex all the time. You can't worry about your ex's ex. You can't worry about all that stuff because you don't have control over it. All you can do is like do what makes you put your head on your pillow at night and feel good about your actions and how you handle
Guys
yourself.
just walked by like, what are these girls doing?
We're recording.
Eat your fried cheese.
We're busy.
girls. We're really busy. Anyway, yeah, no, I agree. So let's circle back to parent-teacher conferences
Yes.
and the role that, like, when you're divorced. So here's also my hang-up. So I kind of went in there like a little bit on the defensive, like I said, because I know from being a teacher and also from growing up a child of divorced parents, there's always a little bit of bias or judgment on the family that is divorced. Like,
Negative?
yeah, like I'm the first one in my group. Hopefully nobody in my group, ever ends up down the path I went down because it's awful. But like, I'm the only one in the class who's divorced, and I feel like there's always this like, oh, but we know she's going through so much at home, and I'm like, no, she's not.
I find it surprising that you're the only one.
I know. I have one friend who's not. Kelly is the only one who's still married to her original spouse.
Mazel's Kelly.
Every single, and she just celebrated 13 or 14
Yeah,
years
they're
of
a really
marriage.
cute couple. I follow on
Every
Insta.
single person in my life and in Jason's life, everyone's remarried. Everyone's on their second marriage.
Well,
Everyone.
I'm 33, turning 34, and
I forget she's younger than
Yeah,
us, too.
you are young.
my
That's
group
why.
of friends and I all got married around the same time, so we're really only 3 years into marriage. Like, I separated quickly.
You did.
But there is a little bit of a stigma that, the more I hear, we know you're going through a lot at home, the more I want to be like, no, that was last year's news. Bella doesn't know any different. She doesn't remember our old
Right,
house.
she's so little.
She doesn't remember her daddy living with us.
Right.
Like, she has a setup that's actually pretty freaking great. She has a great mom, a really fun dad. The back and forth might be a lot, but she also
she's gonna get used to
doesn't
it.
know any different.
Right.
And so
It's her normal.
I kind of went in there hoping I wasn't going to hear that you're going through a lot bullshit, because I'm not. My life is, like, honestly really great considering.
So what's so funny is that, my biggest fear was not only Ava going through a divorce. I got over that because she was so adaptable and so good. When I had Sienna with a different man and Ava was going back to her dad's house, I turned to Marnie because I was so freaked out, feeling guilty that she was going to have a hard time leaving, not leaving me because she was used to that, but leaving out there was a baby. Another friend came? Hi, Shirley.
Hi, Shirley.
Shirley's turn's here. She won't come on camera though. But that was my hang up, was I was less worried about Ava bouncing back and forth. I was more worried about, is she going to have these feelings of FOMO,
Right.
that she's leaving when I have a newborn
Right.
baby
The
and we have this
baby's with you
family
all the
unit.
time.
Yeah, and Marnie had similar situation but reversed because she was bringing a new baby into 3 boys' lives,
Right.
and we talked about it all the time because I was so nervous about how that would affect her. Like, oh God, is she gonna leave and go to her dad's and be like, why does the baby get to stay with my mom and I have to go? So it is. There's so many moving parts when you go through transitions
But
in your relationship.
What really, what really sets me like on the path towards wanting to be the best mom I can be is how and whether or not it's affecting children in school. You don't know until they're older. I was 8 when my parents split, and it affected me physically. I always had a stomach ache. I always had a headache, and that was anxiety manifesting itself. Bella is a bossy bitch because she's a bossy bitch, not because her parents are getting divorced. That's just her
No, but
personality.
she also has your genes in her, and you are very
No, her dad is bossier than I. Like, we're
correct,
both
but
strong.
You have. I'm saying she has 2 strong-willed parents, so she's not going to be this shrinking violet sitting in the corner.
No, she's no shrinking
No,
violet. She's a blooming, like, what's it called?
A
Venus
Venus
flytrap.
flytrap.
That's my kid.
She's 4.
Little Shop of Bella. She's 3 in January.
She is so
She'll be 3 in
cute. She's like a
January.
mini Michelle.
She's got a great outgoing personality. She's very smart. She's intuitive. She's always been. I feel like she came out of the womb like, what's up? I know what's going on here. Like, she's got that from me, and she's also got that hypersensitive thing from me, which is sad. But that personality is all her dad. Oh, man. Anyway, not the point. The point is The food at Relish is so good.
So
Yeah,
good. I just had a shrimp burger.
So, was it good? Is it your first time eating here?
I've eaten here before, but I've never had the shrimp burger.
Did you love it?
I did, and the sweet potato fries were
My
amazing.
favorite thing here, and I didn't get it today because I wanted to switch it up, is the mushroom burger. It's really delicious.
There's
I
so
wish I
many
could
choices.
freely eat a
it's a little
burger.
overwhelming.
No, it's not a burger. It's mushrooms. It's
Oh.
just mushrooms ground up. It's vegetarian. It's delicious.
I'm gonna say goodbye now.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me play third wheel.
So,
You're welcome.
so everything we talked about, we love going off on tangents. Is there anything else that we want to throw
we
into
got
this
to talk
conversation?
about
What?
next week.
What's next week?
Big week.
Oh yeah, I forgot for a second.
big week.
Michelle and I are a little bit on fire.
We
Right
were
now.
like the dough, like that just keeps rolling.
I know. I think we're both very ambitious and we're very hungry for it, and I think we're putting ourselves out there in a very positive and aggressive way, talking about things that a lot of people aren't
If
talking
you don't
about.
put yourself out there, somebody else will. And my thing is always act as if. I have always, from day one, the second I opened up my laptop for the first time to write, I've always acted like I was the best writer. Everything I wrote was amazing, and it's those pieces that I go into with such confidence that do get published.
That you know
so
they're
the
going to
point
get
is,
picked up, right?
We're published again in the same place next week.
Both of us have pieces coming out in Scary Mommy.
Again.
Michelle's going to be
Mic drop.
on the 16th, and I'm going to be on the 20th. And so we're super excited about that, so you can look out for that.
Mine's a great one. If there's any single moms listening, mine is how to survive your first holiday season as a single parent.
It involves a lot of alcohol, right?
Yes, it also involves but it also involves crying yourself to sleep if you
Yes.
need to, because you have to honor the fact that it does fucking suck.
It does.
It
does.
sucks.
And nobody understands that. When you
New
don't
relationship or
have your
not.
kid for a holiday, everyone can be like, "Oh, it's no big deal. You have the next day." It's
It's
whole.
empty.
It sucks.
It's
it
empty.
sucks.
It's sad. But anyway, no, it's a really funny take on how to survive. I also did a more tame one for Creative Child that'll be out in December. But yeah, so I'm going to be in Scary Mommy on the 16th. What about you?
I'm going to be in Scary Mommy on the 20th, and my piece is about basically stopping breastfeeding, because there's so much pressure on us as moms, and I had so much guilt stopping, and it messed with me emotionally, and I was just always hooked up to a machine. I couldn't take it, so mine is all about that whole situation.
I'm proud of you. You know,
Thank you.
one of my best friends in New York had a baby 2 days ago. Congratulations, Agatha. I love you. Her daughter's gorgeous. She's yet to be named, so we don't know her name yet. She's having a hard time with that. But also, I've noticed, this is my third friend in 2 months who's given birth in New York, straight to formula, and I'll tell you why. There's a lot less. New York, I think per square foot, has a lot more working moms than our area does.
Yeah, totally.
And so as a working mom, you do what you got to do to keep your kid healthy, fed, and alive.
I
And that
can't-
might mean skipping breastfeeding. The pressure is not as strong up there. You know, I
It's
remember
not.
down here when my baby was born, I wanted to breastfeed, but I almost felt like I had no choice. Like if I didn't, I was
I agree.
social pariah.
I agree, but I think it's really sad. I think that we need to support each other as women with that, and I think if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. And I've always said, and I know I sound like a broken record, but when it comes to breastfeeding or anything motherhood or parenthood related, you have to do what works for you and not get caught up in what everyone's telling you to do, because every kid is different, every relationship is different, and instead of us all judging each other and putting pressure on each other, it's really ridiculous. Like, I get so mad when I see women who are like literally in tears because they want to do it so bad, and they either can't physically or it's taking a toll on them emotionally, but they feel like they have to do it. Don't fucking do it. Don't do it.
The best day I had as a mom was the day I realized that I got to do it my way. Sorry, it was the day that...
It takes some people a really long time though to come to that conclusion though, and I think once you're comfortable with that and you're comfortable with your decisions and you're not so worried about what others are going to think or listen, no child is not going to be okay because you gave them formula. Shirley, you gave formula, right? Second time. Immediately. And your child's totally fine. Brilliant. Totally fine. She is brilliant. Sydney is brilliant.
I gave up after about 6 weeks. It wasn't working out for me. I also didn't like feeling like Elsie the cow. I felt like it was such a struggle that my stress was transferring onto my daughter, and having an A-B conversation here?
No, because you said Elsie the cow. My mom used to walk in mooing every time I had the pump on. She'd be like, "Oh, Elsie's in business
But that's,
right now."
You feel like a factory. I had a baby nurse who was literally making me oatmeals and drinks to help produce. I was like, okay, enough, it's not working. And the day I stopped, my daughter slept through the night, and I was like, Oh.
Well, see, and that's the thing too, is that I think it's not just the pressure for other people. It's like everyone's so worried you're going to screw up your kid. Guess what?
You're going
to screw up
anyway.
your kid. You're going to screw up the first one for sure. You may not screw up the ones after that, but you're going to screw up the first one. Everybody screws up the first one in some way, shape, or form. It's like your practice kid. It's just the way that it is. I know that sounds shitty to say, and it doesn't make them any less of a kid. My first kid is my ride or die. She is amazing. She is my entire world. But there's so many things that I did with her that I would not do now in retrospect, but I didn't know any different.
Like what? Tell me what. Give me an example, because I'm a first timer.
Like with food, right? I was such a lax mom with a lot of things, but when it came to feeding, I was like, oh, this jar says 9 months. She's 8 months and 20 days. She can't have it. Like, I was so by the book because I was so afraid of what was going to happen developmentally if I gave her solids or this. Sienna's eating Rocco's Tacos, queso, and filet mignon. Like, there's no, I just stopped being crazy like that. She is.
But Sienna's so cool. Ava's cooler, though. Ava's got this swagger.
Oh.
I want to know about Ava's eating habits, though, because I'm at the point where my daughter went from, like, broccoli and mushrooms to only mac and cheese. Only the mac and cheese from Whole Foods. If it's not from Whole Foods, she knows, and she's not eating it. We have
that with chicken. Like, for a long time, she took chicken fingers, tenders, whatever, for lunch, but it's one kind from one grocery store. You cannot deviate, and, like, she won't eat it otherwise. So what do you do about that? I wrote about this, too. I haven't sent it out yet, but I wrote a whole article about it. It is so stressful. Meal times are so stressful because it's like Groundhog Day every day, and I'm like, okay, it's either going to be a bagel or a chicken or eggs. Like, that's it. Those are my 3 choices. And she's very picky, and not just picky like with foods, with textures, and with, it's stressful.
So she hasn't grown out of that yet?
No, it's gotten worse.
Great.
It actually, she was an incredible eater, incredible as a toddler, and then mid-toddlerhood, she literally just like quit food cold turkey. Like, I sometimes, like I say, if she wasn't my clone physically, I'd be like, whose kid are you? Because I live to eat, and she could care less. She would go to bed every day without dinner. She does not care. She doesn't care about anything.
Bella
doesn't
too.
care.
It's an amazing quality, but when she does eat, it has to be mac and cheese. Has to be chicken fingers that are not spicy, aka not seasoned.
Oh, so wait, I'm going to give you something that Shirley actually introduced me to, and it will be good for you with Bella if she likes mac and cheese. And I know she only likes whole food, but I actually tasted it. It's delicious.
The Healthy Lights?
No. Kid Fresh. It's in the
those are good.
Frozen section of Target. And it's like real cheese, real pasta, just frozen, but it has carrots or some other vegetables like hidden in it. And it's delicious.
Healthy Lights, the frozen souffles that I eat for 140 calories.
I've seen those.
Also has a mac and cheese where the cheese is blended with cauliflower and broccoli.
We did that.
We did that for a while until, she started coming out of school going, Mommy, can we go to Whole Foods? And I'm like...
So I tried all that Deceptively Delicious and hiding all the stuff, the Jessica Seinfeld book. I made Ava... she loves vanilla cupcakes. So when she was like 4, I made her vanilla cupcakes with a can of chickpeas.
Oh.
Okay. Whole can of chickpeas, ground them in.
And she looked at you like, bitch, I know better.
Nope. She was like, can I have a... And she didn't like icing or anything, so it was perfect. It was like a muffin, basically, with chickpeas. And I tasted it and tasted normal. You couldn't really taste the chickpea. She was like, Mommy, can I have a cupcake? And I was like, yeah. Trying to act all easy breezy, so she eats the cupcake and I'm like salivating because I'm like, oh my god, there's chickpeas going in her body right now and she doesn't even know it. I was loving every second. Finished the cupcake. She's like, can I have another cupcake? And I'm like, yeah. I think I let her have like 3 or 4 cupcakes, and then she was on to me because I was an idiot and I wasn't like, she was like, wait a minute, you would never. So she figured it out and she was like, I saw that can. I don't want those cupcakes. And so
that's why
it was my fault.
Kid.
It was my fault.
That's why
100%.
Ava's the best.
But the hiding stuff, that's the worst thing too. And you'll get this now with your mom friends. Some of them you're gonna want to punch in the face when you have a picky eater and they're like, have you tried a smoothie?
That's the best.
My kid doesn't drink anything but milk and water. She's not gonna. You think she's gonna drink a smoothie? There's literally nothing. Come at me because there's nothing I've tried that you're gonna tell me that works. It's very, very frustrating. I'm gonna take my earrings off and get into a fight right now. It's very frustrating if you haven't experienced it.
Speaking of fighting, fighting's not.
We have to wrap up soon.
We have to wrap up. I just want to state, we're here. We're having a great time. We're very blessed. We're very lucky. There's a lot of fucked up stuff happening in the world. It's terrifying. It terrifies me every day that I drop my daughter off at school. Mm-hmm. I avoid the mall at this point because I'm just waiting for a tragedy there.
I know.
I am on this path towards like fleeing the country. I mean, I don't know.
I know, it's scary.
It's a really scary world out there, people, and life is hard and life is stressful, and I'm not trying to be like inspirational.
Are you going to have an Ellen DeGeneres moment where you say be kind to each other?
No, more like be kind to yourself. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourself to be the perfect anything. Like, staying alive in this world is like a great milestone and a great accomplishment, and so hug your people, love them hard,
tight.
because it's really, the more I hear about that shooting in Texas, my skin crawls.
I know, it's awful.
It's awful.
And it can happen anywhere.
Wah,
So,
wah.
yeah, really Debbie Downer.
On a
Thanks
nice
for
note,
taking that
we're gonna
whole
get some
podcast
milkshakes.
and flushing it down the toilet. No, I'm kidding. It's a very important message, and we do need to be conscious of it. And
Where should we go next? Where do you want us
yes,
to eat next?
Yes, if you are a restaurant out there, we've had several contact us, and we're working out scheduling things now. But if you are a restaurant or even a business
We're
that
in
you just
demand.
want us to come and record live, we are happy to. Just get in touch with us. You can message us on this page.
You know what I would like to do?
What?
A live from Starbucks at around 8 a.m. when all the moms start coming in, and just start interviewing random moms.
I think we
that'll be
can. I
amazing.
think we can
yes,
do that.
Kelly, Aventura, you're coming to Aventura.
I will
Let's do
come to
raw juice in
Aventura.
Aventura.
All right, so we will figure it out. But if there's any place that Kelly's going to find us a place. If there's any place that wants us to come, contact us on this page. You can message us, or you can contact on Instagram at Wine and Cheez-Its or at the Michelle Dempsey, and let us know. And come visit Relish. It's in the Fifth Avenue Shops in Boca, right off of Federal. Delicious stuff. We're gonna go ogle the milkshakes right now, but check out all
And
their
then I'm
stuff.
going to walk the circle 3 times.
Yep, check out all their stuff. You
could
will
also
not be
podcast from the
disappointed.
circle.
We could live. Well, we did it. We did our post
we
hurricane.
did do
Yeah.
that.
But please come in and tell our friends here that you saw Relish on the Keep It Real Moms. And thank you for joining us today. And we hope everybody has a beautiful day. Right?
Yeah, beautiful. I wasn't listening. The most.
I know you weren't listening. That's why I was calling you out.
The most beautiful. Be kind to one another. We need what do we say when we leave? Like,
Aren't we supposed to say keep it real?
keep it real.
Keep it real. We forgot our shirts today. Next time.
My fault.
Wait, where are we next? Don't we have something on the books next?
Apothecary?
Oh yeah. What is that?
Oh, Dr. Jenna's event.
Oh right.
God, sorry.
November 18th,
At 3 o'clock.
3 to
3
5.
to 5, Dr. Jenna Chiropractic is having an event in her office, the Baby Bonanza. It's going to be vendors catered towards bringing up baby naturally, and we're so good at that, so we're going to be podcasting from there with our breast pumps on. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but we will be there, so catch us there on November 18th, 3 to 5. And if you have an event, not just a restaurant, if you have something where you want to keep it real moms, let us know. Okay?
Okay,
Everyone
love
have
you
a great
guys.
day.
Bye.
Bye.